What's going on, guys? Lawson Turner back with another episode of the Cover 2 podcast, last video of the day. So let's get straight into it. The Minnesota Timberwolves, they complete the sweep. To a lot of people's surprise, they win the game last night 122 to 116. I Going into the series, I thought the Suns had matchup problems that the Timberwolves could run into, but uh, like Anthony Edwards said in the preseason, they got KD, but we got Jaden McDaniels. So let's get straight into how this game unfolded. Anthony Edwards was sensational once again. This this kid is a modern day version of, like, he has the old head mentality in just how he talks, his explosiveness, his ability to work and get into the mid range. He shoots the three ball well enough. Anthony Edwards he's a superstar, and I'm happy that the NBA is not like your casual fan or is seeing how good he is, because I thought he needed one postseason run where he's the unquestioned best player on his team, and his popularity would go through the roof. We saw him do what he did in Game 3, coming up big and then doing the DX, and it, like last night, 40 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. He blocked a Devin Booker dunk on one end, and then later on in the game, late in the fourth, he dunked on Kevin Durant, and it's one of those. And even in his postgame, when he's like, "I can't wait to practice with KD and Book and talk shit, saying I sent the ass home," and I love players like this. I love players that talk their talk, they talk their ish, and then they back it up. And not only back it up, they're he's a superstar walking. His teammate Karl Anthony Towns chipped in 28 points, 10 rebounds. I thought he was awesome. And when if Cat now knows it's Ant's team, he's the unquestioned second best player, depending upon how you value Rudy Gobert, who played his worst game of the series, and it didn't matter. In the third quarter, when they needed it, the Suns were up at the end of the first half. And I was like, okay, well, this is going to be when a team's down 0-3 and they play out of their mind and they end up winning the game and forcing Game 5, then going home in 5 on the away team's court. Cat, in the third quarter, he played all 12 minutes, 11 points, and 4 rebounds. Excuse me, I thought he was the reason that they ended up coming back in the game. Let's talk about some of the runs before diving into the rest of the Suns players. Phoenix in the first half, they went on an 8-0 run. There we go. From the 3:46 mark to the 2:43 mark in the second quarter. I think that all of these playoff teams, they're going to go on runs back and forth. It's how can you answer? Can you get an 8-0 run of your own later on in the game to counteract the 8-0 run that the opposing team goes on? And it turns out in the third quarter, the Timberwolves actually went on an 8-0 run to counteract the Suns' 8-0 run. They went on an 8-0 run from the 10:27 mark to the 8:35 mark. This Minnesota team, we knew all year that they've been a good defensive team. They're long, they're young. Outside of some veterans like Rudy Gobert, who's he's the old head in the room. And then we saw Minnesota in the fourth go on a 10-2 run from the 9:41 mark to the 5:34 mark. And these 8-0, 10-2 runs, it's like they mean so much in the moment, but they mean even more in the totality of the game. Like they win by 6. And it's an 8-0 run here, a 10-2 run here, a 12-6 little mini run there, and that'll do it. So let's transition into the Suns and what their stars did or did not do. Devin Booker, sensational. 49 points. I thought he was the sole reason early, and his aggressiveness late that they even had a chance. Now, granted, he did shoot 21 free throws, and 20 of his 49 came from the free throw line. But this thing about being a scorer, you got to score in multiple ways. If your shot's not going, which his shot was going early, and often he shot 13 of 21, that is 62% from the floor, made all but one of his free throws. Devin Booker sensational as always. I just don't like him. I just don't like him. Like I said, great game though. Almost 50. He also had 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and a block. And he gave it everything. Him and KD had the 33 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 blocks. Like these, Bradley Beal, I understand he was in foul trouble early and often, but can you give me something? Like when they traded for Bradley Beal, one of my boys texted me, "Oh, Suns are winning the NBA Finals." And I'm like, "There's one ball. There's one ball, and you don't go from scoring champ averaging 30 in Washington to the third option. Like that just doesn't. It's not a one-to-one move." And they don't really have any moves to do to improve this roster. Bradley Beal's not waiving a no trade clause. The one that he has. He's going to make $54 million next year. They don't have any picks for the next 4 or 5 years. It might even be longer than that. Like this team is what it is, unless you're going to move KD or Booker. It is what it is. The Timberwolves won the rebounding battle by 11. They won 44-33. They also had 17 offensive rebounds. Now the Suns did have double-digit offensive rebounds with 10, which was nice to see. When you're going up against a big team, offensive rebounds is the world, and it didn't matter. Second chance points though, Timberwolves had 17 off those 17 offensive rebounds. Suns had 15 off their 10. The points in the paint, the Suns actually won by 2, 48-46. Like I said, I thought they came out with their hair on fire, aggressive. Booker and KD were on fire because they needed to be. The Suns lost the turnover battle by 2. Timberwolves had 9. Suns had 11, which, you know, excuse me, it is what it is. Points off those turnovers, off the Suns' 11 turnovers, Minnesota had 14 points. The Suns off the Timberwolves turnovers. There you go, Lawson, getting rid of them. They had 9. They had off the. Take a deep breath, woosah. Let's keep it going. Off the 9 turnovers the Timberwolves had, the Suns had 25 points, which was I thought the biggest reason why this game was close. And another small thing that stood out to me after the fact. Obviously, I'm not seeing this during. The Suns had 10 more fast break points than the Timberwolves, 4-14. Uh, for a young team that loves to get out and go, and when Anthony Edwards is your superstar, you kind of embody the vibe of your superstar. And it sucks for the Suns that their season is over, but you just ran into a better team. Flat out. Flatly, you ran into a better team. Chris Finch, the Minnesota Timberwolves coach, took a nasty, nasty hit towards the end of the game. It's being reported that he has a torn patella tendon. That sucks because I think he's a really great, fantastic young NBA coach, not young in total years, but he's a young NBA coach, and I wonder how that is going to affect them in the series moving forward, whether they play the Lakers or Denver, which Game 5 is tonight. That's all I have for you guys for the Minnesota Timberwolves sweeping the Phoenix Suns. Thoughts, concerns? Do you guys think that the Wolves are NBA Finals contenders? And who do you guys think that they're going to play round 2? Be sure to follow us on Twitter at the Cover 2 Pod 26 on Twitter to stay up to date with with upcoming shows and interact with us on Twitter live during these NBA playoff games. Thank you guys for that. Link's going to be in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Lawson Turner for the Cover 2 podcast, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.